Daily Bible reading, 2 Kings chapter 17, verses 1 through 23. In the 12th year of King Ahaz of Judah, Hoshea son of Elah became king over Israel and Samaria for 9 years. He did what was displeasing to the Lord, though not as much as the kings of Israel who preceded him. King Shalmaneser marched against him, and Hoshea became his vassal and paid him tribute. But the king of Assyria caught Hoshea in an act of treachery. He had sent envoys to King So of Egypt, and he had not paid the tribute to the king of Assyria, as in previous years. And the king of Assyria arrested him and put him in prison. Then the king of Assyria marched against the whole land. He came to Samaria and besieged it for 3 years. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria captured Samaria. He deported the Israelites to Assyria and settled them in Halah at the river harbor, at the river Gozan, and in the towns of Media. This happened because the Israelites sinned against the Lord their God, who had freed them from the land of Egypt, from the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt. They worshipped other gods and followed the customs of the nations which the Lord had dispossessed before the Israelites, and the customs which the kings of Israel had practiced. The Israelites committed against the Lord their God acts which were not right. They built for themselves shrines in all their settlements, from watchtowers to fortified cities. They set up pillars and sacred posts for themselves on every lofty hill and under every leafy tree, and they offered sacrifices there at all the shrines, like the nations whom the Lord had driven into exile before them. They committed wicked acts to vex the Lord, and they worshipped fetishes concerning which the Lord had said to them, "You must not do this thing." The Lord warned Israel and Judah by every prophet and every seer, saying, "Turn back from your wicked ways and observe my commandments and my laws, according to all the teaching that I commanded your fathers, and that I transmitted to you through my servants the prophets." But they did not obey. They stiffened their necks, like their fathers who did not have faith in the Lord their God. They spurned his laws and the covenant that he had made with their fathers, and the warnings he had given them. They went after delusion and were deluded. They imitated the nations that were about them, which the Lord had forbidden them to emulate. They rejected all the commandments of the Lord their God. They made molten idols for themselves, 2 calves, and they made a sacred post, and they bowed down to all the host of heaven, and they worshipped Baal. They consigned their sons and daughters to the fire. They practiced augury and divination, and gave themselves over to what was displeasing to the Lord and vexed him. The Lord was incensed at Israel, and he banished them from his presence. None was left but the tribe of Judah alone. Nor did Judah keep the commandments of the Lord their God. They followed the customs that Israel had practiced. So the Lord spurned all the offspring of Israel, and he afflicted them and delivered them into the hands of plunderers. And finally he cast them out from his presence. For Israel had broken away from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam son of Nebat king. Jeroboam caused Israel to stray from the Lord and to commit great sin. And the Israelites persisted in all the sins which Jeroboam had committed. They did not depart from them. In the end, the Lord removed Israel from his presence, as he had warned them through all his servants the prophets. So the Israelites were deported from their land to Assyria, as is still the case.